Well, guys, I would love to start a podcast for you right now, but silly me just didn't have things in the Dropbox, including tonight's introduction. So, since all of that is actually still exporting, we're just going to go with an old classic. That's right, guys. We are getting ready for expedition, and we don't exactly know what we're doing tonight, but damn it, we're going to have a podcast whether you like it or not. So here's the way something like this gets started, because Dr. Batdorf never dropped tonight's intro.
It is safely on my desktop right there. I can see it right here. Don't even worry. It's safe.
It's absolutely safe. Well, let's go ahead and get a word from one of our pals this week.
This is Matt Knapp, and you're watching the Squatchers Lounge podcast. Why? I have no fucking idea.
That's right. And the way it's going tonight, we have no fucking idea either. Holy crap, dude. Well, hey, that's the way it goes. I am your host, the Reverend Jeff Kelly, and not every single episode is going to be perfect. But you know what? I'll bet you if David drops the intro in the box now, we can play it for you on the way out tonight. Yeah. At least you'll be able to hear it. It won't be in vain. With me, as always, is the Dr. David Batdorf, pseudoscientist. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Actually, I think that the high on the mountain was the best way to possibly, really prepare everybody for what we're going to talk about when we get to the main topic and what not to forget. And I had I have the distinct disadvantage of not being in the area. So what I kind of went through is like, okay, what do I fly with? How much can I take? I have weight limits. I have all these sort of limitations. What do I actually need for 4 or 5 days in the woods? So it was a good practice to kind of go through and see what you actually need and what you really. Well, I don't really need all this.
That's stuff. It. There's a difference between want versus need, and we're going to get to that coming up in just a little bit. But as always, it's time for the news with Reverend Jeff and Dr. David Batdorf.
And now for the Squatchers Lounge News, bringing you the most up-to-date topics from across the interwebs week after week after week. The Squatchers Lounge Podcast.
Let's get newsy. That's right, people. The first thing up this week is Bigfoot leaks. Now, I've been seeing this posted all over Facebook, and these people are taking these articles as if they are real. It is satire, people. Funny. Ha ha. You're supposed to laugh at this stuff, but it's just some of it's really getting out of hand. The one that brought my attention to the site was man kills Bigfoot and gives you the explanation of how to do it. Yeah, right. Hide behind a tree and scream as though you're an elusive Bigfoot, and they'll come to you, he says. So check out bigfootleaks.blogspot.com for a little bit of fun in your life every day.
Footprint proof of drug addicted Bigfoot, or evidence that Bigfoot is not responsible for cattle mutilations. This is probably a fun site, and we should probably check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
On a regular basis, we should probably check that out.
Probably check that out hourly if it's not daily, that's for sure. Dude, National Park Service, the Great Smoky Mountain Park closes several trails and backcountry sites due to a bear incident. 16-year-old male from Ohio was pulled from his hammock by a bear and injured at Backcountry Campsite 84, which is 4.5 miles from the Fontana Lake shoreline near Hazel Creek, North Carolina. The father was able to drive the bear off from the animal. What did he do? Did he get the bear in the family truckster and drive it off out of the area? I don't know, but boy, we're going to be in hammocks and bear country here in about 48 hours, and this kind of scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, well, so here's the thing. How many times have you been up to this area and camping, and how many bears have you seen in camp?
Well, we had last year one bear come through camp and totally devastate it while we weren't there. But as far as being in camp, 0.
Okay, so the case in point, how was the camp set when you were gone? There were no people there, first and foremost.
No, the foodstuffs had been left out, and then the grease was all over the table, and Mr. Bear came through and smelled all that, and took big old chunks out of the table because it tasted like bacon grease, and that's what happens when people get careless in bear country.
And that it's a really, really stark reminder of, even I posted something in the Squatchers Lounge where they were talking about the bear. They shut down a park in Washington for nuisance bears. There wasn't an incident like there was in the National Forest here, but they closed a whole section of the park just because the bears were getting so used to eating people's trash. And so first off, don't leave trash. Second off, they give some really good pointers of, if you're going, it's okay. Like, say you have a fire permit and you're camping, they suggest having your cooking fire at least 100 yards away from your sleeping area or sleeping fire, if you will. So there's so many things that you can do. You want to remove food from the food bait from your campsite, because the bear doesn't want anything to do with that guy. Like, even, it seems stupid, but like, just wipe down, Jeff and I have beards, like, get the sausage mess out of your beard before you go to bed. Don't let that beard smell be an attractant for bears to pull your head out of a hammock, right? So a little sanitation, whether it's picking up, whether it's wiping down with some towelettes and other things like that. Just get the food smell off of you, go to bed, because the human stink they want no part of.
Burn all the paper garbage that you cooked with. Burn it all. Burn all the plastic stuff. Burn all the stuff. Yeah, I know it's not good for the environment. Yeah, neither is getting your ass bit off by a damn bear. Burn everything you can burn while you're in camp, and make sure that everything else gets wiped up and put away, because it's no joke. They'll take you like a hammock taco, and next thing you know, we're a burrito at the bottom of the ravine. Yeah. So
put it in sealed containers. Put it in a car, because a car smells more like a car than it does like food, even with food in it. And other things like that. There's so many ways of doing that, but just make sure that, especially if you're going to burn paper in an area like we are, that you're somehow trying to keep the tinders down and whatnot. But I think that there's a lot more to this, and I think as people really do, more outdoors camping and more let's say less seasoned enthusiasts go out there, the more you leave yourself open to potential issues.
Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, and potential nom noms.
That's right. On to good news. Fox News reports that the world's smallest deer species was born in New York Zoo. That's right. May 27, 2005, the photo provided by Wildlife Conservation Society, a southern poodoo fawn walks in its enclosure at the Queen Zoo in New York. Boy, isn't that just the cutest little thing? I bet you it would taste good with some grits on the side, maybe with a couple of eggs in the morning. I'm not real sure how long it would take to cook up, but I don't think it would be long.
If you've seen the YouTube video of this thing kind of prancing around, I'm pretty sure my girlfriend looked at it. It was so cute, she got pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those things that just, look how cute they are. I need to have one of those. I need to have one of those jammed between two pieces of bread. It's a deer. I want to know how it tastes.
Not a whole lot of meat on that one.
No, not a whole. I have to let that one grow up a little bit. Once the spots go away, maybe we can put it into a stew. And you can check that out at Fox News. National Geographic wants you to be safe, people. Don't get your ass ripped off by wild animals. How to photograph them without getting hurt. Holy crap, dude. How do you get this close to a seal without getting those chompers shoved into your face? I don't know. David, did you read this thing? How to do it?
Well, he did have those chompers shoved into his face, and luckily the seal was looking more at the lens of the underwater camera, and doing a bunch of crazy stuff with a dead penguin in front of there. But one of the things that this guy describes was this amazing experience that they actually caution against down below there, which is anthropomorphizing, and which is
making them think like they're people, and
and he's trying to feed me. He's caring for me by bringing me this bird. No, he got interested in you and bit your camera, dropped the bird, went back to it, and went back and forth. So, yeah, I mean, we could go along the points. Like, keep your distance. Most of these amazing images, like this image, was probably captured with
200 yards away.
Or 1,000 feet. With on a tripod, with the proper rig to catch this at 2,000 feet. Probably not even like a trigger on the camera, but like a remote trigger, because you would actually blur it by pushing the button. That much of a zoom. And
so, I think it's not even actually looking at the camera; it's just looking in that direction.
Yeah. But so you have those sort of things. You keep yourself separated. Keep your distance. let the animals approach you. Never go rushing after an animal. If you really want, I'm going to get a picture of that deer. If you run up on that deer, well, they might run back at you.
Have you ever seen the video of that guy get his ass beat by a buck?
Yeah.
Don't go run up on.
Take your time. Be patient. There's a great story about the guy who filmed. There's this great footage of the spirit bear, and he got 99% of the footage on the course of 2 days of 90 days worth of filming. Dude was out there for 3 months trying to film this one bear, right? And it was 2 days where he got almost all of the good footage. The rest of it was just patience time, and that'll drive you insane. And the last one is the don't anthropomorphize. Don't, like they actually reference the grizzly man. Don't. You're just having a bad day. You're eating my face.
Poor little grizzly bear. He's not having a great time.
Yeah. So they're not domestic animals. Don't think that a coyote or a wolf is a dog. Don't think that a bear is a dog, because it's not even in the same family. So make sure that you understand that you're not supposed to be a part of the wild kingdom, because we are domesticated animals as well. You can enjoy it, but enjoy it from a distance. Be respectful, be patient, and don't mess with things that are larger than you or than you. How about that?
Yeah, that's right, because they will eat your ass.
A 45-pound pit bull can mess you up, right? I'm a 200-pound dude. A 45-pound pit bull can mess me up. So there.
Absolutely, and it'll get to you. So that's how to photograph animals without getting hurt. Lastly, tonight in the news, Dugout Dick, the Salmon River, Idaho caveman. That's right. This dude literally just decides, I'm done with society, asses his out to the Salmon River, and just starts digging a house into the Idaho hills. And that's where he lived for several decades. He lived like a hermit all by himself out along the Salmon River. Dude, could you do that?
That would be, it would be intense. Just think about how winters, but if your entire
no
day,
grocery store, no pharmacy, no Facebook, no nothing.
Decades, dude survived. We did it for millions of years. I know it's possible.
Yeah, but I said, could you do it?
Yeah, well, no.
Yeah,
I suppose if you had to, you would. It would not be the. There's no comparison. It's not the same living standard. It's not the same anything, but it's possible.
Well, people had gone out to find Dugout Dick's homes, and over the decades, he would show them to them and everything. Well, unfortunately, Dugout Dick here had died in 2010, and the department, or the Bureau of Land Management, as we know, we're not exactly a big fan of those fellas, although we do like Kip. Kip's our buddy. Went in and filled all the caves in for fear of collapse, and now they're all gone. So decades of this poor guy's work in the Idaho hills was just clamored upon in by the Bureau of Land Management rather than set up as some kind of historical monument. And I think that's a shame.
Yeah, well, at least they didn't do it while he was trying to make them. I don't think if he was on, BLM land, like, they would have been somewhat under the right to chase him off if they knew about him. But that's the thing. Did they even know about him? Could they find him? Did they know where he was?
That begins another battle
of biped, right?
What does the federal government own in America? Absolutely nothing, because the states are controlled by their own sovereign governments. So the BLM doesn't have a right to really chase anybody off of nothing. And we've had that argument before. We're not going to get into it tonight. That's for damn sure. But Dugout Dick is just, it's one of those stories where I'm sure he was the local Sasquatch. Did you see the beast that lives by salmon? Until people finally got to realize who it was and what was going on there. And then the story changes.
Maybe that's where we got the harmonica theme from the Bigfoot documentary you and Wes did the other day. You asked
for it. That's right.
Thank goodness you still got that queued up.
You're watching the Squatchers Lounge podcast, bitches.
That's right. You're watching the Squatchers Lounge podcast. Well, finally wrapping up tonight in the news. Apparently, Sasquatch Ontario finally bit the dust. Now, somebody sent me this GoFundMe campaign, and you guys know that we like to bust these GoFundMe campaigns right out of the gate. Well, Mike Patterson here is asking for $50,000 in a GoFundMe campaign. Now, unlike the Indiegogo campaigns that you don't get squat unless you make your goal, GoFundMe actually gives you payments along the way. So these morons that are out here giving this kid $1,500 already for whatever the hell he feels like making up in fake Sasquatch prints and stories and audio all over again, he's going to get chunks of this stuff as he goes, and you people are going to be responsible for the crap that comes out of it. David, what are you thinking, buddy?
We've brought it up before. Yeah, Kickstarter is one thing. Kickstarter is you either meet your goal and you have a product and you have to deliver, and there are rules, versus the GoFundMe there's a bunch of other sites that do this sort of thing, this crowdfunding thing. And some of them are good, and some of them are, there's people who are trying to raise money for their cancer treatments because they can't pay for it, and their family can't be burdened with it, etc., etc., etc. So these people who are donating $1,000 actually are relieved of $1,000.
Yeah, that money comes right out of your account. There's no getting that back. That is definitely 100% gone. I mean, this image of this fake Bigfoot peeking out behind the roots of this tree should be enough to tell you people this is not real. This is make-believe, and you're going to pay this kid to lie to you.
The plot thickens and the story goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And if you watch even parts of, or even just like skim through the video that they have on here, produced by Christopher Munch, it will blow your mind. The
marbles appearing in midair and dropping to the floor because Bigfoot loves you.
It's an interdimensional. Interdimensional English-speaking Sasquatch that most of the time you just can't even see. But there's handprints and footprints all over the place, and all sorts of other things. And we've seen this kind of thing before, and we've kind of not touched this guy because
we've been asked several times over the years, are you going to do a show on Sasquatch Ontario? Well, we honestly thought that you people were smart enough to see for yourself that it's bad. It's just bad. And if you really need us to tell you that it's bad, well, here it is. We're telling you that it's bad. Okay. Now, wait, there's more. So apparently he used a bunch of pictures of the owner and the owner's son of the property up there where the Bigfoot was. And due to copyright claims, he lost his YouTube channel altogether. And the owner of the property then went behind him and made a new Sasquatch Ontario channel and put up a video about the whole situation with messages from the Sasquatch. Was that right, David? There was actually messages?
There was actually messages from the Sasquatch, yes. Yes.
Do you remember what those messages were?
I actually don't recall what those messages were. I might have
been
skimming through there.
Mike, bad Mike. Bye, bad Mike. I mean, it's horrible. It's just, so now we've got not only Sasquatch Ontario, the douchebag, we're now going to have the property owner and his kid, the douchebags, replaying more of the stuff because they're swearing that the Sasquatch is real up there, and it's just they had to throw Mike off of there because he brought some chick there. Well, apparently some chick is Sonia, the Bigfoot worshiper, the Bigfoot whisperer out of Todd Standing's camp. Dun, dun, dun.
The plot thickens further. I mean, they're all there in the Great White North.
In a world. There you have it, people. The Dr. Meldrum, Mike Patterson, Todd Standing trifecta.
We brought it all back in.
Dun, dun, dun. I mean,
So
seriously.
As was tradition in the Squatchers Lounge, we like to look at particular things, and this was something that we said, we're not sure what the end game is, but eventually he's going to ask you for money.
Yeah, eventually he's going to ask you for money, and 50 grand is nothing to sneeze at.
I don't even know which show we brought that up in, but we definitely brought that up. And so where's the end game in this? And that's why we haven't touched it, because we can't figure out where it's going. Well, okay, here it is, $50,000. That's
right.
That's what he thinks it's worth.
50 grand is exactly what he thinks that project is going to be worth. And, hey, more power to him. We're just going to let you guys know. Don't play around with, I'm just going to donate to him and maybe it won't actually go through. It'll just be a lark. Ha, ha, ha. Well, it's going to be a lark on you when they take that cash right on out of your pocket, and you're never going to see it again.
Whether he makes $50,000 or not, it's not like the Todd Standing, if they do that on Kickstarter and he didn't make $2 million Canadian, then the money goes back to everybody. It was never gone. It's gone. It went into a PayPal account that they can draw on.
Exactly. And there you go. Well, it's time for the tip of the week from guess who? These delays are killing me. And now it's time for Rules to Squatch By with your old pal Wes.
Number 34. You gotta update your squatching gear regularly, folks. Nippleless hiking shirts are an excellent choice for those longer, more advanced hikes where nipple chafing can be a problem. I know David's got his already, but what about you, Rev? I wonder if they make crotchless. Come
Hairy
check
nipples.
out my recent work and my art for sale at weslosner.com. Stay squatching, my friends.
And I did actually get a chance to talk to Christopher York this week. They did actually have a show, so he wanted to catch you up on what you might have missed.
This is what you've missed this week on the 40 and Slip.
Good times. And I saved the best one for last because this one is really intriguing.
Look, Ryan, there's Clay Alcorn. I can't believe that came out of Steve Alcorn's vagina.
But it's still a good thing to look over your shoulder when you hike in Southern Oregon. Why? Because Sasquatch wants to go hiking with you,
Ryan,
apparently.
Steve Alcorn's not a man. He's a woman. A beautiful Dutch woman.
Check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/the 40 and Slip and at the40andslip.blogspot.com.
God, I love one of these days. Alcorn is just gonna pop, dude. You're just gonna stand up. You're gonna hear some steps walking away, clack, 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 and then the door's just gonna slam. The truck's gonna drive away, and that'll be the last we ever hear of Steve Alcorn.
Hey, Steve.
Next thing you know, he shows up in Maine, and then we hear that Christopher York's gone missing. Well, guess what, people? That already brings us up to tonight's topic. Look at that. I gotta figure this out.
And now for tonight's topic.
That's right. Tonight's topic: going on a Bigfoot trip. Are you driving? Are you flying? Are you packing? Are you going on a train? These are things you got to decide about what shit you're taking and what shit you're not. And what can you live without? Now, David's sitting there right now. He's got a big old sack full of crap over there, weighing like 45 pounds, and he's got to figure out, what are you leaving behind, buddy?
That's the big question. I start putting all this stuff in and I'm like, okay, well, space becomes an issue. You have confines of space when you're flying with a checked bag, and weight limitations. And the weight is the one that I'm struggling with right now because there's a lot of stuff I want to take.
That's a big sack.
It's a gigantic sack.
My, what a large sack you have there, David.
Yeah. But yeah, so what is it that you really need? And I start to take things out like, okay, well, maybe I don't need my super duper telephoto lens. Maybe I don't need, a lot of these things that I talk about that are good tools, but you have to know why you're in this area first, and what to be looking for in order to use those tools. Anything that's either a telephoto lens or I'm probably going to leave my spotting scope as well, because they both weigh about 9 pounds or 8 or 9 pounds. So these are things that you really have to take into account. And what first and foremost, I mean, I'm putting a sleep system together. I got my hammock. I got all the pieces of that.
That's the important part of the sleep system, because I started riding on the train to go and meet Justin to go out and go camping, and literally I can take 2 bags on the train and that is it. So packing a tent and all that shit just isn't possible.
So for me, who doesn't have like a home base in this area, right? I have to pack some comfy clothes for the ride down or ride back or whatever. Some comfy shoes, even just for around camp, because one of the worst things that you can do is wear your hiking boots for 4 days straight. I have waterproof, like really epic.
I am so guilty of that.
You can make some problems for your feet. Like if it's 4 days, I'd probably be okay. But just keeping that shit on for 4 days, I mean, it takes no weight, no space. I pack some flip flops to be able to air out my feet in between hikes. Because I plan on doing some pretty serious hiking. A couple.
You and Justin will love that. He loves to walk. You can walk for miles with that fella.
I'm looking forward to it, but but when you get back to camp, there's nothing better than taking those boots off.
Take your boots off and get your feet there by the fire. Let them warm up a little bit there, honey.
Yeah, and as you and I were talking, it's like typically when I'm sleeping in my hammock, in a casual setting, I sleep in my stocking feet or in naked feet. Being in a campsite, it would be nice to have. Again, running shoes don't weigh anything, and they compress down pretty good.
Well,
so
I gotta be honest with you. I wouldn't sleep, completely stocking feet in the woods like that, because you never know what the hell's going to happen. I'd at least put a pair of Crocs on at night.
Well, yeah, and
something you can run your ass away from where the hell it is you're sleeping is quite important when you're in bear country.
Something that's clean and dry. But again, if you have like a legit like water resistant pair of hiking boots, you don't want to be sleeping in that. That's a way to trench out your foot real quick. And for somebody who is afflicted by athletes from doing things like this in the past, you learn from your mistakes, right?
Whoop, baby, that was stupid.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm leaving some of my heavy gear for light compressible shoes and other things like that. Comfort things. I want to make sure that I have a lightweight long sleeve shirt. We're very seldom are we going to need a long sleeve shirt, but you want it to guard you against the sun, or if there's a mild rain or something like that. Keep the dew off if we're staying up all night, which is highly probable, right?
Got to keep the stank off you, baby.
Yeah. So a good weighted long sleeve shirt for the evenings, a coat in case it really gets cold and we are staying up and I am going to go hiking out at night. So really take care of your body first, and then what's left. What do you
have room for? That's actually a very good point. That's one of the things that I have to do is, I have to wear layers on my legs because I suffer from the mountaineering disease. I get nauseous. I get the whole mountain sickness up there, even though it's not above 7,000 feet. Doesn't matter. Anytime you go up above 4,000 feet than what your body's actually prepared for, you can get it. And I do. And boy, it's important that you can stay warm. Like I've got to take a second layer from my legs because my legs get just cold as hell. Not that it's freezing out there, it's just me, but I know that I've got to have extra layers on my legs. So I got to make sure that stuff goes in my bag first, or I ain't going to be comfy. And you have to be comfy. That's the primary thing. Past your sleep system and how you're going to sleep at night, you've got to be comfy next.
Exactly. I now have some filming stuff, some very basic gear that I got a backpack, I got this, I got that, and then I have this whole like evidence kit that I carry with me. And then I actually realized how heavy it was because, I'm like freaking weighing stuff as I'm putting it in there, like, okay, justifying this versus that. And this evidence kit that I had, this evidence collection kit weighs, 2 pounds, which doesn't seem like a lot, but make or break, like I'm like,
I literally have like 2 paper bags, 2 little Ziplocs, and a Sharpie. That's
Yeah.
my evidence collection kit, man.
So you get crazy with it, and almost like I'll just roll up some zip top bags, straight out of the grocery store box, or I'll buy a box when we go down there.
I have some here.
Yeah, exactly. So you start to throw stuff like that out. It's like, do I need this? Do I need that? And I really ended up with legit like camping and survival gear. I got some knives. I got some some basic first aid. I got all the stuff I need to make camp. And outside of that, I can go down. We can stop at a store. I can get food. I can get water. I'll have like canteens and decanters. I got my coffee making system. And thank you, Justin, for picking up the fuel.
And if not, we got a campfire. We'll make it work.
Yeah. I freaking throw a stainless steel water bottle in there and boil it. Whatever.
I've got a canteen cup. We can boil like a liter at a time if you want.
Yep. And so we can do. There's so many things that you can do, and you have to rely on other people to a point when. Because I really like it's amazing how much stuff I'm leaving behind, even that I would take either in my car or even on a hike. I'm not hiking all this stuff normally, but I could backpack with everything in there, getting down to about 40 pounds. You could backpack for a good long time.
Yeah,
on that.
40 pounds is a good core versus 90 pounds, which most people go for. Most people in a big high pack when they're going like the Pacific Coast Trail or whatever else, unless you're that stupid chick on friggin' that stupid movie that has 190 pounds for her 80-pound stupid ass frame, you get kind of crazy with it. But a 90-pound pack, like my buddy went and climbed a couple of mountains. He went and climbed Adams and what's the other one up there in Washington?
Rainier.
Yeah, he went and climbed the twins up there and with a 90-pound pack. And was able to be in base camp and eat and have everything else. And eating is important because you're going to buy stupid stuff to go on a camp out like this. But let me give you a little reminder out there, people, too. You might want to bring like 72 hours worth of MREs in your car or in your pack or whatever it is, because you just never know what the hell's going to happen out there. And if you do run out of food, sure, you can hunt. But if you've been watching The Island on television with Bear Grylls, you find out hunting's not quite the exact science as we would like it to be. Are we going to eat something tonight? Yeah, probably. But you'd be really happy with a 1,500 calorie MRE.
So looking in my bag again, the MREs are key. Like anybody who's backpacking, I mean, they don't weigh anything.
An MRE is a meal ready to eat. It's something you basically add hot water to, and it becomes edible substance with lots of potassium and sodium and stuff to keep you going.
Yeah, they add vitamins to them. It's not like God, macaroni and cheese. What is that gonna? No, they add things to the macaroni and cheese.
You want the carbohydrates. You need.
The cheese powder is high in whey protein and other things. They make it so that that you can live on it.
Yeah, it might not be the tastiest thing in the world, but you need to eat it anyhow because it's worth. Because a survival bar, I got news for you. If you've ever had, I've lived for 3 days on a 72-hour survival bar just to see whether I could do it. After about the 20th hour, you're sick of eating cardboard Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
Because that's about what it is. It's cardboard Rice Krispies.
And that macaroni and cheese hydrated with campfire water is amazing.
Dude, I will trade you 2 of my survival bars for 1 of your MREs.
Yeah.
I will give up eating every other day if I can have your MREs.
Yeah. So those are important things. And so I just opened up my bag to do a quick look at like what else is really in there. I got, I have my clothes, I have my sleep system, I have, like I said, the knives and the little bit of tools that I need, some cord, and I have a towel.
A towel?
Don't
forget your towel. That's the #1 rule of the universe.
Well, but I don't have like a full-on like bath towel.
Doesn't matter as long as it's a towel.
I have a microfiber towel that whether it's sweat, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can wet that towel down and throw it around your neck if you're too hot, if you're overheating.
Dude, I have like 7 bandanas in my bag.
Yeah. So I also have a bandana is a good one. Outside of that cordage and stuff, I have It's really really thin. I mean, they're not going to keep you from puncturing yourself, but if you have to dig with your hands in the dirt, or if you have to, break branches and do things that are abrasive, those thin, lightweight nitrile gloves are great for your bushcrafting experience. If you
digging the dirt with your hands, dude. We're going to the Sierra Nevadas. There's a thing called rocks.
And
they make good shovels. We aren't that primitive that we're digging in the hands with our dirt. Although I wouldn't mind making a lean-to around the hammock situation. We'll have to see how that works out. See if we can set up a real nice camp this weekend.
Well, I think so. But the other, so here we have our sleep system, our warm system, a sun system. The other one is you have to be prepared. I've got some ponchos and some other. There's actually some ponchos that I would use just like the either to lend to somebody or as like tarps for my gear.
You mean the ones I left there when I went camping with you?
Well, I might have packed one of those too.
Exactly.
But so something to keep the wet off of you. Like a rain hat. I have a rain hat and a sun hat. One you will recognize from the podcast.
Woohoo! Expedition hat.
And the other one I don't wear. It's just a sun hat. But I mean, they take up this much space and they don't weigh anything. They crush down, they pack good, they go under my backpack. Fine.
I don't wear this fancy dancy cowboy hat because I think it looks glamorous. It keeps the sun off my head. And if you'll see me in camp, I don't actually wear this, but in the daytime, in the nighttime, I've got a beanie or I've got a boonie cap on. Why? Because I got to keep the heat in.
Mm-hmm. Which is the nice thing about that sun hat will keep the heat off, but that rain hat actually has a thermal lining in it too, which I'll take that instead of a beanie because it also the wide brim holds your body heat in a little bit enough. I used it actually over this last couple weekends at my camping property, and it worked fantastically just to keep me warm, even warmer than a beanie. I would. Mama
taught me to come in out in the rain, so.
I was born in the rain.
I was born in the rain. That's right.
But yeah, being high on the mountains in the Sierras, I'm not as worried about rain as I would be up here. But that's something that I just can't go with, in good conscience, go without being from the Pacific Northwest. Up in the Puget Sound area where it rains a lot and often.
Yeah, it's gonna keep doing it too. I mean, the rain up there, it rained for it's gonna rain for 4 days. It's going to rain for 4 days right before we get there, but then it looks like it's going to be nice and warm for us when we get there, and dry, which is perfect.
Awesome. Like if it was dry before and dry during, you don't get that same amount of time for the soil to be soft and to take tracks, and we can see what's actually been in that area, and that's going to help us do that survey that we want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we picked up another camper today, so we're actually going to be able to have we'll probably end up with 3 little teams of 4 to 5 people going out in their surroundings and looking for any signs that may lead to Sasquatch. We're not saying that Bigfoot lives on this ridge. We just know that there's Bigfoot activity in the area, specifically on this mountain. Just we don't know specifically about this face of the mountain. Although there is a human presence where we're going, it's deep down. I mean, 3.5 miles from the last point of human contact by the road. So we're probably 2 miles into the bush from the last human houses. But, how many stories do we hear where we's out at our summer cottage and that damn Sam Squanch, he came up on the porch and stared at us in the window while we was watching TV. There's a million of those stories that are out there. This is exactly that last point of human contact where somebody would have an experience like that. When you hear the camper stories where there we was sleeping in the tent, heard something rustling through the garbage. So the wife poked me in the side and made me look out there. There was a Sam Squanch going through the garbage can. I screamed, he screamed, she screamed, and the Bigfoot runned off. Well, that's just down over the hill in the valley where we're not going to be, where all the campers are around Gold Lake. So literally we're surrounded by the typical Sasquatch type stories because that's where people are. If there aren't a whole lot of people going into those locations, there aren't going to be a whole lot of Sasquatch stories that come out of those locations.
Yeah, true. And then the one thing you need is people. So that's why we need to apply ourselves to these locations to see what happens.
I mean, basically, past where we're going to be camping, there was no real sign of humans using the area like campsites and stuff. I mean, yeah, there were trails, and yes, there were vehicles that went down those trails, but we couldn't find any camp locations past where we're going to really be. And we're pretty sure that face of the mountain's pretty well like empty, which is one of the things we'd like to confirm, and people doing long hikes around the perimeter is definitely going to tell us that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
so what else are you going to leave behind out of your sack?
Out of the sack, aside from the long range gear and the evidence collection, and
you got room for the ukulele?
I'm not bringing in the musical instruments. I'm not bringing oh goodness, what any of the field manuals and other things like that. If I really need to figure out what kind of plant that is, I'm going to have to take a picture and deal with it later.
Well, there's going to be a lot of us in camp since we're going together that'll have those I have how to survive in the woods, and a lot of the field guides and stuff, because we're taking my Jeep. I get to load up on extra shit this time. Yeah, I'm usually the guy assed out in the hammock over there eating MREs because that's all the weight I can carry on the train. Where this time I get to have the expedition vehicle,
luxurious expedition. Yeah. But yeah, so like that's the thing, and so what I put into this bag amounts to, it's to take care of me. I need to add food to that, but I can't, the food we'll get when we're there. We'll supply up when we're there. Batteries I'll get when we're there and stuff like that. The rest is coming on a personal carry bag, which this is just a like over the shoulder camera bag. But looking through this, the two things, one that's research oriented that I can't buy at a grocery store, which is a pen and a pad of paper, right? I'm bringing my weatherometer. I don't know what that'll do because there's no data to parse against. It's just like, oh, here, this is what one looks like. This is what it does. And I can put that on film. So that's superfluous. And I have my GPS unit, which has 15K topo maps of that area, as the whole West Coast basically.
Yeah, make sure you do that before you go on expedition. Don't expect it to download it while you're there, because there is no coverage.
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about this is it's all stored on the device. All the Garmin handheld devices, you buy the topo maps. They're stored on the device on a flash drive, and you get satellite signals. Signals may come in and out or whatever, but you still have the topo map to guide yourself by. As long as you can get an actual north, at some point you can guide yourself. But it does pretty good. And even in that location, I remember getting a signal on the other side of the river anyway. But everything else in here, this is so there's a camera up top, my DSLR, some GoPro stuff, and some batteries to run all that. It really doesn't matter. I could do that with my cell phone as long as I could charge it. I'm going to get a little bit better resolution out of these things, but this is just to document the experience, and it really isn't keeping me alive in the woods.
No, right.
If you will.
That's exactly right.
This is so I can bring something home, put it together, and share it with all of you on a YouTube channel, right?
That's exactly it. And that although that's important for us and what we're doing, as far as the survival aspect of it goes, not so much. Now, what you should really kind of be a shocker is that bag that you have sitting there for yourself. You really should have one for your significant other and your baby, and the amount of food for the three of you to be able to go out the door with in a survival situation should something severe hit the house. So it's kind of an eye-opener. It's like, okay, what's going to take care of me for 4 days? That's exactly what you need to consider for your whole household. Are you really prepared to be able to run out the door with enough gear for you, the old lady, and the little bit to survive? Cambo kitties, I guess I'll have to leave the doors open and pray they survive.
Well, as long as it doesn't take the squirrels out in the neighborhood, they got those. But, the other interesting thing is like how much food, so here I am coming down to a location. I have nothing. I have some sleeping gear and some clothes. and the need to get out into the forest. How much food do you bring? What do you plan for?
Oh, we're gonna pig out, dude.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
You always buy too much, but really, so that's the thing. Like, if you were thinking, basic, like even a quick snack, let's say it was like a meal bar, a coffee, maybe a banana or an apple or something for breakfast, and a quick snack lunch, and then an MRE. That's a really sparse diet, but that'll keep you going as long as you got hydration. So where do you get that hydration?
Well, water. You got to bring water.
Yeah, in a camp situation, that's one of the most important things that you can, if you're going to over purchase anything,
Look, there's a river right down over the hill from where we're staying, and we've done that on purpose. There are creeks literally at the base of the ridge of where we're going. We've done that purposely. Why? Because if you run the hell out of water, you could boil that stuff up in 3 minutes and have gallons of it to drink. I have cleaning pills for 5-gallon buckets of water at a time, and we could stay up there for a month and drink the local water. But that's a hassle. So make sure you bring a clean source, whether it be a life straw or some kind of, they got the hand pump filters that'll fill up your water bottles. That's all well and good for a backpacking trip. But if you're going to be living there for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's way too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Backpacking, carrying, you can put, 10 gallons of water through an MSR, filtration system while you're backpacking, and you still only have to carry that, 2-pound device. But if you're camping out of the back of a Jeep Cherokee, say, you can put 10 gallons of water in there. That's 4 2.5 gallon containers, and you have enough to where at any point, if you're like, holy crap, the fire's getting away from us, you can just pull the nozzle off of one and just dump 2.5 gallons on the area to make sure that if you gash your forearm really bad, you can just dump water on it to try to rinse it out and to clean out the debris. You can waste that water. If you're going to over purchase anything, water is a good thing to over purchase. Yeah,
you can go for weeks without food, but you can only go for days without water.
Yeah, you can use one of Jeff's 7 bandanas to wipe yourself down and make a tourniquet out of the wettened.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. So, but you have to have that. But like I was, think to yourself, like, it's 12 o'clock at night. Somebody goes out to check out a noise, and they trip and they slip and they put a branch into their forearm, and it's bleeding real bad, and there's a lot of debris in there, and you only have 1 gallon of water.
Poor
so
bastard.
that's a really,
you're gonna die, Johnny. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, we're gonna put a tourniquet on that, and we're gonna drive you into the nearest hospital, which is 4 hours away.
No, actually, from there it's at Eagle something or other. It's only like 40 minutes.
Well, we lucked out. That was
we got very lucky that way.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's the whole my whole concept. Like you could go for you can go for a 24-hour period without eating. Going for a 24-hour period without water in 80-degree weather, where it gets down to freezing and your body's all over the place and you're at altitude. That's a terrible, terrible place to be. So bring water.
Lots and lots and lots of water. Well, guys, look at it already. Dude, we've already used up the hour on just crap. Look at that. As Matt said, I don't know why you're watching this, but we're giving it to you free. So why not? It's still better than crappy TV. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, this Sasquatch Coffee Company. You can go to squatchcoffee.com and pick you up some of the greatest coffee on the planet. We're actually going to be taking a nice big old bag of Bigfoot blend with us to do in the French press. Yeah, he's got that fancy dancy coffee stuff. Don't forget to go out to weslosner.com, WESLOSNER.com, and check him out at Squatchy Inc. on Instagram. He keeps telling me that's not Twitter. Twitter's for dweebs, something or other. Yeah. Don't forget to find us on Facebook, facebook.com/S Lounge Podcast is the fan page. And the group for group discussion is facebook.com/groups/S Lounge. That's where you can find us all. And if you're listening to this on the Poddy or the podcast release in audio only, you got to come join us live on YouTube or you're just going to be left behind. But I do keep putting them out there for you on the podcast world. If you can rate us, like us, make comment about us, do something so people can find us, it'll at least make it worth my while. David, what are you looking forward to besides that 2-hour flight instead of that 22-hour drive?
It's blowing my mind that I can just fly down there in 2 hours. I mean, anyway,
for the cost of the money that you can drive down here is probably 4 times what you can get for that plane ticket.
With the advance notice I got and a check bag, which is like a $50 charge and the seat charge and like all the other charge. It was there's no way I could have driven down there and halfway back for that cost.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely not.
So this is something that's going to happen with frequency. Jeff, am I right?
Oh yeah.
Next time you're coming up this way, right?
That's right. We're going to come up there for the fall camp out at your property up there along the creek, probably in August or September.
Secret.
A secret location, you know. I mean, there's Bigfoot. There's no reason Bigfoot can't be visiting there to eat the salmon run. Maybe we'll figure that out for the late season.
Yes, I have other plans for us.
But yeah, I'll take that plane ride up there. Hopefully I won't get stomach ass and end up, on the friggin' bed puking for 14 days again.
We'll just that time we'll just push you in the river and let you float out to sea. It'll be fine.
I probably would have felt better if I would have just died. I mean, really, honestly. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. For Dr. David Batdorf, pseudo scientist, I am your host, the Reverend Jeff Kelly of the Squatchers On Podcast, Season 3, Episode 24. We want to say thanks for watching. And of course, since David didn't drop the intro, I can't give it to you. May the Squatch be with you.
Next time you see either of us, we're going to be together.
That's right, in the same location.
To the Sierra.
Filming the Squatchcast, the Squatchcation, trying to make a podcast in the forest. God, this is going to be crazy. Painfully crazy at that.
Probably.
Guys, tune in for the after show. Well, you can't tune in, you're not allowed to, but the guys who know who I'm talking about will be hooking up for the after show hangout in just a little bit.
Whoop, whoop.